Yo, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Street Coder Nate, and today we are going to continue our talk about the DOM. But today it's about methods. And what are DOM methods? Let's get into the lesson. Let's go. All right, so DOM methods. So we got our HTML DOM, right? And it basically says, the HTML DOM methods are actions you can perform on the HTML elements. So when I say that this document has a method, has multiple methods, has multiple functions, methods, functions, actions, they're the same word. Procedure, methods, function, action, procedure, they mean the same thing, right? And so basically what this is actions you can perform. These are things that you can perform on HTML elements, right? And then you have your HTML DOM properties. Now, properties are like, for me, like my skin color, like my height, like my eyes. And for HTML element, it would be like the source of a image or the href of a anchor tag, stuff like that. Okay, cool. Got it. So now you got your understanding between methods and actions, and that the DOM, remember, the DOM is just a document object model. And in JavaScript and any programming language, objects have methods and action, or methods and properties. So that's why we just explained that right above there, because now we're going to be able to use the DOM in this method and properties to interact with our actual HTML file and change things dynamically. So the DOM programming interface, the HTML DOM can be accessed with JavaScript and with other programming languages. Let me make sure you understand that. Not only JavaScript is not the only language that can access the DOM. The DOM creates an interface for any programming language. We just happen to choose JavaScript to do the programming. But on some real, I would love to see another person or another language come up on the front end that people like using more than JavaScript, to show that you don't have to continue using JavaScript on the front end. But a lot of people love JavaScript, so it's probably never gonna go anywhere, right? Okay. In the DOM, all HTML elements are defined as objects. That's cool. That's really cool, because objects, once again, well, pause. Everything in JavaScript is defined as objects. So it makes sense that, I mean, we're using JavaScript with the DOM, because it says, once again, in the DOM and HTML, all HTML elements are defined as objects. And in JavaScript, everything is an object. So you create a variable in JavaScript, and you set it equal to something in a DOM. Well, you just created what is that? A reference to an object, and now that object has attributes and methods, or it has attributes and methods that you can use, and attributes being, let's say, the text. If it's a p tag, let's say the text that is showing. Well, now we can change that text, and we can also change the color on that text, and then we can place that text other places, like by moving its locations and stuff like that. So, and that's all about the property as well. So that's real cool. Like, this is what the DOM is building this interface for us programmers to be able to interact with our HTML web page. The programming interface is the properties and methods of each object. So the programming interface. So once again, what I was just saying, the programming interface, basically the language that you're using to interact with the HTML document, is the properties and methods of each object. So the way that we're interacting with the document is through the properties and methods of each object. And the DOM gives us access to the properties and methods of each object, right? That was a little confusing. So a property is a value that you can get or set. You can get. So somebody was like, Nate, what skin color are you? I am black. If somebody asks, what is the text content of that H1 tag that you typically load? Well, it's usually what up though. That would be the text content, and that is a property. Now, a method is an action you can do, right? And like add or delete an HTML element, like select a certain element. These are actions. These are things that we go do, right? And the thing is, the methods are usually named after they're usually given a reference name like create node or delete node. Like the first word is usually an actionable word, so that you know that it's a method, an action, a function, a procedure, some commands, right? So the following example changes the content. Um, changes the content of the P element with ID equals demo. So right here, let me grab myself. So right here, let me because I look a little small. Cool. One more time. One more time. There we go. That looks better. So we have this. Let me grab myself. There we go. So we have this P tag right about here, and it has an ID of demo. Right below, we have this script. And look what's happening in the script. We're calling document. So document is the long word for DOM. Like DOM is shortened, document object model. So the way that we say, remember, the document object model is where all these, it builds, the document object model, if you will, is the container to all of the HTML objects inside of it. And so we want to access the HTML objects. We want to grab specific objects for here, we want to grab the get element by ID. So we want to grab an element by its ID, and the ID being demo. And so in order for us to get a node or get one of the HTML elements, we have to first go to the DOM we have to first go to the DOM and ask the DOM to get that element for us. The way that we ask the DOM to get that element for us is through this keyword called document. All browsers give us this access to the DOM, and the DOM is the document. It is the document. And so we say document, and document has a bunch of stuff attached to it. And remember, we use the dot operator on objects to get access to its methods and its properties. And so here we have a method called get element by ID. Remember, methods are actions. So we're basically telling the document to do an action for us. What is that action? That action is get element by ID. And so the DOM knows about all of its elements, and it knows which elements has IDs, and it knows which IDs are tied to certain elements. So we tell it, give us the element by the ID of demo. Now, what the DOM does is searches all through its objects to find an element with the ID demo right here. And so what this does is it grabs this P tag, bang, grab that P tag. Now that we have the P tag grabbed, it says .inner HTML. .inner HTML is one of its properties. Its properties is it has HTML inside of it, and you can go see it. It's just like that's like saying skin color, like show me your skin color, but instead of saying show me your inner HTML, the HTML that's inside you. And let me show you where the inside would be at. The inside part would be right about here. That's the inside, right? The HTML.inner or .inner HTML. That's what we're talking about right about there. That's that .inner HTML. But as you can see, there is nothing in there. And so what we're going to do is say .inner HTML equals hello world. And then we put hello world right in between those, right in between here. And so we can try it out ourselves. And what you'll see is that we have H2, my first, oh wait, no, we got this P tag. Oh yeah, we got this H2 in our body right here. That says my first web page, and then we got this P tag, which is just a demo, and you see that there is nothing in this P tag right now. But, oops, my bad, I always keep myself on the screen. Gotta be more cognizant. All right, so we got the H2 tag right here, and then we got this P tag, and then this P tag has nothing in it, and it's it's the demo. But here you see we load our script tag at the end of our HTML, at the end of the body down there, right? We load the script tag at the end of the body, and then we have this document.get element by ID demo, and we know that demo is going to put hello world onto the screen. But we like to do on this channel is say what up though. So let's change that to make sure that it's working. What up though? And let's run it. And you see that the JavaScript dynamically changes the text that's inside of this p tag. That's why. Cool. All right. So that's methods and attributes. Okay. So we got the get element by ID method. What is this? Well, basically, it literally says it in this name. This is why we make descriptive names for functions and classes and my bad and variables. Drew blank. So this is why we use descriptive names, because then you could just read this name. It obviously says get element by ID. What is it going to do? It's going to grab an HTML element by its ID. But we got to ask the document to do that because the document knows about all of its elements. So we tell document, give me element by ID, and then it returns us that element. Now that we have the element, we can change the content of an element by using the inner HTML. And so the inner HTML property is useful for getting or replacing the content of HTML elements. That's it. That's honestly it. You pretty much, you got it, man. Y'all got it. Pretty much, like that is methods and attributes on the DOM, and it's important to understand these because this is how we interface with the HTML. We ask the DOM, which is the document, to get us different elements. It could be by ID, it could be by class name, it could be by tag name, or we could use query selectors like CSS selectors and whatnot to grab these different elements. And now that we have those elements, we can interface with those elements through their properties. Actually, we're interfacing already when we say document.get element by ID, document.get element by tag name. That is using the document's interface, the methods and attributes, and then to change the different things. Those are the attributes. So we're really tapping in, y'all, like really tapping in to JavaScript. And in the next couple videos, we're just gonna keep going over the DOM and understanding like what exactly is going on behind the scenes. So continue to tap in with me. Remember, like, subscribe, add a comment, all that jazz. I see y'all in the next video. All right, I'm out there. Peace.